Welcome to our Advent devotionals. As you can see in the background of my living room is a Christmas tree, stockings, right? All sorts of things that help to prepare us for this Advent season. But far more important than these physical reminders is that spiritually, that our hearts are prepared to really take in and to soak in the precious nature of this season. And so that's my hope and prayer through these devotions, that this wouldn't be a season that we allow to drift by, but instead that we embrace all that is here for us. So I want to start off by sharing, I have a drawer in my home, and perhaps you have one similar, a drawer that you might never know what you will find in that drawer. Now, while I will admit there is a lot of junk in that drawer, from time to time, I have found cash, I have found gift cards, I've even found my social security card. Now, needless to say, I've owned these gifts, like the cash and the gift cards, they've been mine, but I haven't necessarily cashed in on these gifts. And one of the main points of the incarnation, which is Christ coming to us, putting on flesh and coming to us, is to enable us to have access to God's ongoing presence. Now, I feel like this is one of those gifts that we don't cash in on, even though it is ours. So our passage, John 1:14, simply says this: the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son from the Father, full of grace and truth. So what hinders us from living in light of such a gift? Right? I think at the core of it, we typically don't like being dependent. Right? This is what got the human race in trouble from the start. Instead of embracing dependence upon God, they wanted independence from God. And once that happened, right, it was like taking a drop of red dye and just dropping it into clean water. Like, it contaminated everything fast. And the byproduct is we are people who really resist against full dependence upon God. Now, Jesus, his incarnation, coming to earth, he came as the second Adam to undo the mess of the first Adam. Right? He embraced complete dependence upon his Father. Like, we even read one time in the Gospels that the night before selecting the apostles, the 12 disciples, he went up to the mountain and he prayed all night to his Father. Now, if the Son of God felt the need to pray all night and to live in that type of dependence, how much more for us humans? And perhaps there's part of us that feels like life would be a little boring if we had that type of dependence, that dependence would detract or would hinder us from really enjoying life. But nothing is further from the truth. That's part of being human. Like, we were created to be dependent, and we actually come most fully alive as we exhibit that dependence. Right? Once we go down the road of independence too far, right, there is a void that inevitably comes up. So one way that we can embrace our dependence this Advent season is through simply time with God. Right? So let me ask you, what is a current problem that you have? Like, what is a current challenge that you have? Where are you rushing around struggling to fit God in? Will you slow down enough this Advent season to embrace your humanness and your dependence and access the most precious gift ever, the gift of God's ongoing presence with us?